We're in that there London again. We've seen the sights, eaten the cakes and done the pubs, and I'm exhausted, so I'm off to see a show. While I'm gone, I'll leave you in the capable hands of Wills for a music tour. Good luck.
Apparently, they're just showing the Arsenal game.
You're gonna need it. If you don't know us, I'm Rachel, he's Wills, and we are Postcard and a Pint. Now music tours aren't for me, so there's only one thing left to say, and that's bye! So whilst I watch my gorgeous ex-pupil Esme as a leading lady, Wills is free! Off he pops to Denmark Street, and today he's going to tell you all about British rock music.
If you know anything about the British music scene in the 60s and 70s, you may be aware of Denmark Street. If you're not, let me show you around.
Denmark Street was nicknamed Tin Pan Alley. It was the heart of the British songwriting and music publishing industry. The name was inspired by America's own Tin Pan Alley, the district in New York that helped to shape popular music. At 9 Denmark Street, you'll find the Flatiron Steak Restaurant. This was once the famous La Gioconda coffee bar. Back in the 1960s, the cafe became the hangout for musicians and music industry figures. David Bowie and Mark Bolan were amongst its regulars. Next up is 20 Denmark Street. Today, it's Brat, a multi-purpose cultural hub. But back in the late 60s, a young Elton John and Bernie Taupin wrote the hit Your Song, apparently inspired by the view from the roof of this building. Now this isn't music industry related, but it's pretty cool. This is the Outernet, one of London's newest entertainment and digital media spaces. These giant immersive screens represent the modern music and entertainment industry. Apparently, looks like a Microsoft screensaver to me. What's really going on, Wills?
Apparently, they're just showing the Arsenal game.
Next up is one of the most famous addresses on the street. Take it away, Wills.
The building behind me, number 6, was where the Sex Pistols used to hang out. This was their main rehearsal room. Steve Jones used to live here, and loads of their early stuff were written here. Cool, eh?
Was written here, Wills. I don't know, I'd leave him on his own for 20 minutes, and his English has gone to pot. In rooms behind this building, you'd have found the Sex Pistols rehearsing in the 1970s. Malcolm McLaren helped secure the rehearsal space, and guitarist Steve Jones lived here. During renovation work in 2010, this artwork and graffiti was uncovered. These drawings were made by Johnny Rotten, whilst the Sex Pistols were rehearsing here in the 70s. Today, this is a posh hotel, and this apartment that incorporates the artwork is called I Am Anarchy, and it's all yours for around £900 per night. Today you'll find no tom guitars at this address. This shop specialises in classic and vintage instruments and has some great photos from back in the day adorning its walls. I'm sure it's a great shop if you like guitars. My view is currently more this, with a little bit of this too. Back to you, Wills. Now enough with the guitars in that shop, move it on, lad. But being Wills, this didn't happen. Let's take a look at all the adverts, stickers and flyers in the window. Let's take a look at an old photo of the Sex Pistols and wonder if this was the same rail that Steve Jones was leaning on. Where are we now?
Way before punk, bands like the Rolling Stones were making music here.
Here being Regent Sound Studios. This recording studio opened in 1961 and was the iconic studios in Denmark Street.
Regent Sound Studios, everyone recorded here. The Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, Jimi Hendrix. Wow.
The studios played a major role in the British rock explosion of the 1960s. It helped to establish Denmark Street as a recording destination, as well as a publishing hub. Sadly, it closed as a studio in the early 80s. It has since reopened as Regent Sounds, a music shop. The staff in there are so knowledgeable, and Will's even got a tour. Take it away.
So yeah, we've got this AC unit here now, but that was a wall. So you're currently stood in the foyer.
Wow.
So this is where you'd have a receptionist. It was your live room. So from about here to that back door / where that green sign is, it was sort of a long live room, and then the room sort of tapers this way a little bit, which is where our trying booths are now. So they weren't there originally. Starting about here, and there'd be room literally for a tape op and a chair and a Collings desk. fact, I've got a picture here. Sorry about all this crap. But this is one of the engineers in here. It's an old Collings broadcasting desk that they used. And they boasted about having 9 mics.
Are these all pictures from this studio?
Yes, yeah. They are, except this one of McCartney is actually was in the other studio, which is where they did Fixing the Hole.
There is so much history in this building.
Based on this picture, it basically would have been either this corner with his back to a panel, or that corner on that side, probably with the monitors behind him.
It's safe to say, Will's had a great time.
Big thanks to the guys in Regent Studios, that was really cool. But apparently, in this guitar shop, Bob Marley bought a guitar.
Let's go in. This is 5 Denmark Street, and between 1952 and 1964, it was home to the offices of the NME, the New Musical Express. In 1969, it became Top Gear Music, and yes, in 1973, Bob Marley bought his famous Gibson Les Paul Special here. At 24 Denmark Street is the music store Rough Trade. This was once situated in Neil's Yard, where it famously had in-store gigs from the Beastie Boys, Jeff Buckley and PJ Harvey. It only moved to Denmark Street in 2024, but as a music store, it has a wealth of history. At 26 Denmark Street, you'll find the Lower Third, formerly the 12 Bar Club. This one's more modern, opening in 1994. Although it was mostly emerging artists who played here, it's also hosted Adele, Katie Tunstall, Keane and many more. Next up is Hank's Guitar Shop. It's a legendary guitar shop that opened in 1985. Musicians from all around the world visit this street especially to browse the instruments. Hank's is also known for carrying high-end, artist-owned gear. The store has handled amazing pieces of rock history, including Neil Young's Gretsch, used at Woodstock, and Elvis's last stage-used Martin D28. Over the years, famous musicians like Noel Gallagher and Billy Gibbons have visited this shop to buy and sell gear. Shops like Hank's are part of what keeps the street's musical identity alive. Yes, Denmark Street has one of the highest concentrations of specialist music shops in the UK. Put the guitars down, Wills. It's time to move on. So that's Denmark Street, the heart of London's music scene. A historic street where generations of musicians, songwriters and performers have come together. Just a short stroll across Soho Square, with its mock Market Cross building, which actually hides an electrical substation, you'll arrive here. Where are we, Wills?
This behind me was Regent Studios.
This is one of the most famous recording studios in British music history. It opened in 1968, and artists including David Bowie, Queen, Elton John and the Beatles recorded here. We've now reached Wardour Street in Soho. This also has music history. Wills?
90 Wardour Street was the location of the old Marquee Club.
And the Marquee Club is one of the most important live music venues Britain has ever produced. Many regard it as London's equivalent of Liverpool's Cavern Club. The venue became famous for discovering and showcasing future stars. Jimi Hendrix performed here during his rise to fame. Early performances from the Rolling Stones, Iron Maiden and The Who also happened here. It was quite the venue. A short walk from Wardour Street will bring you to Frith Street, home of Ronnie Scott's Jazz Club. This club opened in 1959 and was founded by jazz saxophonist Ronnie Scott. Legends such as Miles Davis, Ella Fitzgerald and Nina Simone have played here. It shows that Soho's music heritage extends far beyond rock and pop. We're now in Berwick Street, one of Soho's most famous streets for record shops, music culture and this.
Look familiar?
Yes, the cover photo for Oasis's album What's the Story Morning Glory was taken here in 1995. It's still a pilgrimage site for Oasis fans from around the world today. Last on Will's wonderful music tour is the Ship Pub. He had to visit a pub, didn't he? For decades, this pub served as an informal meeting place for journalists and record executives. Cheers, lad, you done good.
That's the end of my little walking tour. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, it would be ace if you could hit that subscribe button. Even if you didn't enjoy it, it would be ace if you could do that anyway. But I'm off to find Rachel, and hopefully we'll go and find a pub to have a cheers to the good times. See you there. Founder, we'll see you for a pint in a second.
But before that, a catch-up. And a catch-up we shall have. Well, not so much me, because I wasn't even in this one. Over to you.
I really enjoyed that day. I've been wanting to do a video like that for a while. To be honest, I wasn't actually going to do it, and I thought, I've got a couple of hours. I'll give it a go and see what comes out of it. We didn't even know if it was going to be a vlog or not, but I just wish that, because I've learned so much more about it since doing it, I wish there were a few more shots I would have got. But anyway, it is what it is. We'll do an even better one day.
Will we?
Yeah.
The guys in the guitar shop that spoke, he was great, wasn't he?
They were really good.
Yeah.
They were really, really good. They could see who was filming. They didn't have a problem with that, and they were just great. So I think my favourite bit was seeing where the Sex Pistols used to hang out. So I've seen loads of documentaries and things, and I've seen that place on, so many times. And I love the Sex Pistols anyway. I've seen them, by the way, not the original lineup, obviously. I've seen Johnny Rotten. Did I mention I've met Johnny Rotten a couple of times? I've seen him with Pill, Public Image Limited. I've seen him on his book tour. I also saw the Pistols with Frank Carter a year or so ago. They were brilliant. But anyway, I'll stop waffling now, shall I?
Have you finished?
I think so, yeah.
Right, let's make a very clever segue.
Oh.
From rock and roll to...
Rock. And
remember a few weeks back, month probably now, we went to Blackpool and we did a little competition.
We did.
And a couple of weeks later, we did draw it and we did film it, but we just didn't know how to put it up online. So we've got it all filmed and we thought we need to put it on the end of the video.
We know the results already.
We do indeed. So the question was...
what colour t-shirt was Chris Higgett's, the £1 Burger Man, wearing?
And the answer was...
Of course, it was blue, wasn't it? It did have white writing. Some people said blue and white, which is cool.
We had so many entries, we decided to split it into two.
About 52, 53,
yeah,
something like that.
so first prize is going to get 3 bars of rock, second prize is going to get 2 bars of rock.
Yeah.
So we will show you the first spin.
It's Paul Palin. Well done.
Hopefully you're watching this. Drop us a message, either email us at info@postcardandapint. I will...
.co.uk.
Yeah, I will on Monday put a comment underneath your comment on the Blackpool video and we'll hopefully get in touch that way.
Send it on Instagram, anything like that.
Yeah. So, well done you.
Yeah, well done. Second one. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Blue 172. Well done.
Same as with Paul, I will comment underneath your comment. If you're watching this and you want to get in touch sooner, drop us an email just like before. And yeah, we've finally drawn our Blackpool Rock competition.
Although you probably won't get it for a while because we're going on holiday next week. It's going to be at least a week before we send it off anyway. So
right,
you'll get it at some point.
Other news.
The other news, we would actually like to dedicate this video to the Welsh rock goddess Bonnie Tyler, who very sadly, as we're filming this, she passed away today.
She did.
So I thought she was brilliant. She was great in the 80s.
What a voice.
What an incredible voice. She did some duets with some of my favourite artists. Shakin' Stevens for a start. Yeah. Also Spike from the Choir Boys, who's a good friend of mine. Which, if you don't know that song, check it out. Fortune is brilliant. So yeah, really, really sad news. So we are dedicating this to Bonnie Tyler. Cheers, Bonnie. So that's kind of it, really, isn't it?
No, we've got some happy news.
Oh, we have got some happy news.
Yeah. You can do this one as well.
We've got a new patron.
We have. A couple of Patreons.
We've got a couple of patrons. Ian and Dan, thank you so much. Yeah. We really, really appreciate it.
Welcome to the family. Welcome to the Make Mine a Large One family. And hope you enjoy the extra content. And my ramble today went on a bit, didn't it?
It did. Oh, yeah. So if you fancy doing the Patreon thing, there's a couple of different tiers. It's not very expensive, price of a pint a month or whatever. And you get some other stuff. You get us being idiots.
more than once a week.
Sorry.
Right, let's wrap this up. If you'd like this video, that'd be great.
If you would hit the button... Oh, we're sweaty today. It's really hot, isn't it?
It is hot.
Anyway, oh, excuse me. If you'd hit the button, if you do the subscribe thing, all of that, leave us a comment. It was a different video for us today. We know that. Some of you might have liked it, some of you might have hated it, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is. So we're going to go back to London for the Cheers to the Good Times.
We are indeed.
So,
as we say
in Postcard in the Pint,
cheers to the good times.
I was walking down the street the other day and this bloke started throwing milk and cheese at me.
Did he?
Yeah, I thought, how dare he?
Oh.